Hi guys, I hope all is well. So today I am making a video for you about how we're going to be seeing angles in the coordinate plane, and we're going to talk about how to convert from degrees to radians, which I said briefly the other day that in your calculator they measure it, you can measure it either way. So I'm going to show you how you can go back and forth between the two types of measurement and explain that to you. All right, so first thing we need to talk about is the angle. So an angle theta, right, that's how we measure the angles, is said to be in standard position, right, if its vertex is at the origin. Okay, so here we can see what they call here, think of it like if you're, opening up an angle here. This is the initial side. Think of it as a side here that's just going to kind of stay still. And then your terminal side will just move around kind of like a clock. Okay, so you can measure your degrees going in the positive direction, which is actually counterclockwise. All right, I'll show you in a second the degrees. Or you can measure going clockwise, which would be like in a negative direction. Okay, just think about this pencil just kind of rotating downward. I don't know what I just said. Okay, so here I have labeled an example of how you would measure these degrees on a circle, right? So if I have here my initial side, I'm at 0 degrees. If I rotate it up here, that would be 30 degrees. Here is 45 degrees, right? If I'm up here, I'm at a 90-degree angle, right? If I go another 90 degrees, I'm at 180, okay? If I go another 90 degrees, I'm at 270. And then if I rotate it all the way around, I'm at 360. So this could also be 360 once you go all the way around. All right, so you could measure your angles accordingly. All right, you can also, if you went negatively, this would be negative 30 degrees. See how I have positive 30 degrees going up this way? If you go around counterclockwise, this would be 330. But if I went just down this way, that would be a negative 30 also. It's like the reflection of this angle. All right, so I'm just going to show you some of these examples. So if I were to draw, I'm not going to make you draw these, but if I were to draw an angle at 135 degrees, I know that I would have my initial side here, right? I would go up past 90 degrees, and right over here, 45 degrees after the 90 would be at 135, right? Next one is negative 180, right? So negative 180 degrees means I would go this way 180 degrees and I would wind up right here. It happens to be the same as positive 180 degrees, right? Because I could go this way and come to 180 degrees also, a straight line. All right, what's next? 90 degrees, as we already talked about, would be right here, okay? 495, so if I went around 360 and then I did another 135, I would round up here at 495 degrees. All right, so think of it like a clock, and you're going to have to get to know where all the angle measures go. We're going to be doing that moving forward. All right, so now how will I convert degrees to radians? So, okay, I don't want to make the video too long, so I'm not going to get too much into what a radian is, but it's a way to measure the degrees in terms of your radius and the certain arc that it intercepts, okay? I might post a video just explaining that to you, but right now all you really need to know is this. Pi, okay? Pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So whenever you see pi, think 180 degrees, okay? So one revolution around the circle is 2 pi, because I go 1 pi would give me 180, 2 pi would give me the other 180. All right, so 2 pi means one time around the circle, all right? And 180 degrees equals pi radians. All right, so this is what I really want you to have in your head. Pi equals 180 degrees, okay? So the way that you convert them, okay, I wrote this on the better on this page. I like this better. Whenever I need to go from degree to radians, and I'll show you some examples of this in a second, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. And when I want to go from radians to degrees, I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. So that's what we're going to do today. Right now, I'm going to just show you how to go back and forth. All right, so I wrote a couple on my paper here, so I'm going to show you how to convert. So right now we want to go from degrees to radians. All right, so let me just go down to my paper. I wrote it here for you. All right, so again, from degrees to radians, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. From radians to degrees, I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. All right, so for this one, convert to radians. So I'm in degrees. So whenever I'm going from degrees to radians, I multiply by pi over 180. So I'm going to take the 45 degrees. I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. Right? If you like to see it like with the 1 under, you can do that, but you don't need to do that. And then I'm just going to multiply. Right? Here, what do I have? I can divide this by 4. Right? I mean by 45. 45 times 4 gives me 180. Right? And so that gives me pi over 4. Right? I divide this by 45. Divide this by 45. I get 4. So I get pi over 4. So pi over 4 is the same thing as 45 degrees. You could always check this, because what did I just tell you before? Pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. So if I put 180 divide by 4, what do I get? 45. That's how you can check your answer. You can always replace pi with 180. All right? I'm going to do one more. So notice this is a negative. This just means that you're rotating this way. Okay? So negative 100 degrees. I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. So I'm going to take my negative 100 degrees. I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. What's that going to give me? I could divide both by 20, right? Or if you like to just, this is going to give me negative 100 pi, right, over 180. And then you have to simplify, right? Divide both by 20, right? So what does that give me? Negative 5 pi over 9. And you can just leave it like that. Again, you could check your answer. Here, I got my calculator right here. Put a 180 here. Negative 5 times 180, right? Divided by, what did I do? 9 equals negative 100, right? All I did was replace this with 180, and I checked, and I got negative 100, okay? So now I'm going to do the opposite. Now I'm going to convert to degrees. So I'm going from radians to degrees, and remember, from radians to degrees is I have to multiply by 180 over pi, just the reverse. All right? So here I'm going to do 7 pi over 6 times 180 over pi, right? So what happens here? This pi's cancel, right? I can divide this by 6, and I'll get 30. 7 times 30 is 210 degrees. Okay? Another way you can just do, again, we just replace this with 180. 180 times 7 divided by 6 is 210. But you should know that that's why you're doing that. And that's how you get it. All right, again, I can do this also with something, a negative. So negative pi over 3 times 180 over pi gives me, I'm going to get this out of here, and then I get 180 divided by 3 is negative 60 degrees. Which again, if I put 180 divided by 3, you get the 60, so negative 60 degrees. All right, so this is what you really need to make sure you know, and you really need to know that pi is equivalent to 180 degrees when you're talking about, you know, degrees and radians. Let's see, I think that's all I wanted you to do today. So I am going to post an assignment. Let me pull it up for you so I can just show you. Okay, so on the assignment, you're going to convert from degrees to radians, and then you're going to go convert from radians to degrees. And then I want you to take this empty circle, and I want you to label going counterclockwise, you know, the positive direction, each one. So in degrees, so this would be, for example, this is going to be, well, let's start here, 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, right? I'm giving you the answers. So each little point here, I want you to measure what the degree would be, and then I want you to also convert it into radians. So I want the degrees labeled and the radians labeled. Okay, so yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day. Bye.